So, if you know me, you know that I love internal family systems and parts work. And I got really into it after reading the book No Bad Parts by Dick Schwartz. And he's the creator of IFS, but not really creator. I feel like he mostly just like learned that we have internal family systems from his clients. And then he just wrote it down, what they taught him. And a big piece of this was the non-pathologizing aspect of no bad parts or internal family systems, which recognizes that everything that the body gives us, both in thinking, behavior, and sensation, is all just information. It's all morally neutral. And in a world that really celebrates and values wellness, health, success, um, happiness, and punishes and stigmatizes sickness, um, poverty, failure, um, yeah, sadness, anger. It can be really easy to join with that cultural message that we've received and to tell ourselves when we are sad or when we are sick or when we're having a health problem or when we're um, feeling angry or failing at something or feeling disenfranchised about life, that there's something wrong with us and that it needs to be fixed and that it better go away, right? And we've been taught that. A lot of us had parents who, when we were upset, they said, you're okay, right? And what happens is when you invalidate a message that's coming from the body or the psyche, um, it either gets louder or it switches to communicating in a different way. And there are lots of folks who acknowledge that physical stuff in the body. Um, can have both a physical component and I want to say body mind component, right? So I could trip and break my leg. And then I could either be like, I'm never going to get well. My life is ruined. This is horrible. And it could take a really long process and I could end up having a really hard time. Or if I, don't have the all of those thoughts, then it might be that I'm like, oh, okay, no problem, great. I needed a couple days off, and I'm so happy to have people give me rides places, and it heals really quickly. So we know that someone's perspective on something and someone's like capacity to um, access resilience is different. Person to person. And so there's always a mind body component, even to something that might be so-called like purely physical. And in that way, nothing is purely physical. So it can be an interesting perspective to take a look at and to notice the places where you are experiencing something that you're like, be quiet, go away. I don't want you here. You shouldn't be here. You should be different. And see if you might be able to consider asking instead, hi, I notice you're here. Do you have something to tell me? Um, there is a beautiful poem by Rumi called, ooh, what is it called? The Guest House. And I'm just gonna read it because it's so beautiful. And it acknowledges that everything we experience is coming to our door as an unexpected visitor. Uh, So I'm just going to read this. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness, some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they're a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes because each has been sent as a guide from the beyond. So I'll put a link to that in the description and then also to the book by Dick Schwartz, No Bad Parts. Uh, I have found this to be true in almost every instance that anything that arrives in our body or in our mind has something to share, has some insight that will help us to get to know ourselves better, to understand ourselves and take care of ourselves better. And um, while that may seem a little self-focused, it really is a service to the collective because the more that we are able to take care of ourselves and be in integrity with ourselves, the more resources we have to offer those around us. Um, so yeah, just something to consider the next time something comes up that you're like, oh, go away. You can consider offering, hi. Uh, what would you like to share with me today? And even sometimes they're like, I don't know, or I don't want to tell you, and that's okay. Sometimes I like to just imagine myself setting out a picnic blanket in front of a beautiful view and sitting with whatever it is that has come forward, whether it's a headache or today my knee was hurting as I took my walk, and I just put a hand there and said, hi, friend, hi, hurting knee. And just sit with them on that picnic blanket and be there for them in the same way that you would be for a friend who might have had someone die recently. There's nothing really good to say and nothing to fix, nothing to make it better. But sometimes just being with them can be so meaningful. Okay, lots of love.